Now. Who's coming out? Boa tarde.
speak with you afterwards.
Good,
Right?
yeah.
Oh, we're supposed to talk, right? Oh, you were in the, like this, with this lighting? Can't see anything.
Yeah, maybe we'll say a few words. Thanks a million for coming. My name is Vicky Langan. I live in Ireland.
My name is Gordon Ashworth. I live in Chicago, Illinois, United States.
And we've just spent the past month here at Zaratan as artists in residence. We're both musicians, working in experimental music, working with field recordings, sound art, this kind of realm. And yeah, we spent the past month here taking photographs, exploring Lisbon, getting to know people, making lots of like snapshot kind of field recordings as we travelled throughout Lisbon on buses and in hospitals and through parks and just meeting lots of really interesting people along the way. And the results, like what you've just heard there, is I guess a processed version of kind of our memories of our time here. Thanks a million to everybody at Zaratan for hosting us and making us feel so comfortable and looked after. It was a really beautiful time here, and we're really lucky to have gotten to know everybody who we've met. So thanks a million.
Thank you.
So the recordings were made in Lisbon, these ones that we heard?
Yeah, a combination of like cassette recorder recordings, some on phone, digital recordings, and contact mics as well. So just a combination of things we've heard, or like structural stuff with contact mics, and yeah, environmental sounds.
Yeah, and so all the sounds from this performance were recorded in the city, you know, in just the way she described over the past month. So some of the musical sounds was from a flute player named Dong near Sintra. The last part with the kind of guitar sounds was a guitar workshop led by Mario Rui Silva, who is from Luanda, Angola. And all the sounds are just from outside. And so what we were doing, we were both kind of playing and manipulating and whatever, mixing our
Looping and layering.
yeah, but a lot of it, we both have tape machines, and so we were looping parts of the sounds that were coming through here to kind of capture them and then repeat them and to alter them in different ways. That's what we were doing.
And yeah, also this is a first time collaboration between the pair of us, so it's significant for us.
Yeah, we've never done this together before, so
It's approved.
Thank you very much.
we appreciate the opportunity and you all for listening.
Wait, I'm curious how will this collaboration go? Like how you share the creative process? I don't know. I want to know more.
How will it go? Well, next year we've decided to get married, so that's one direction.
I won't think that you look very pretty.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I guess we both just like working with these materials and in this way with, you know, first of all, being in space and paying attention and listening, making recordings, listening back, you know, I guess it's like, it's a very, there's a beautiful arc to that process, you know, it's of hearing sound, capturing sound, playing it back, and then performing it. And I guess we both maybe it's hard to be articulate or kind of break down what's interesting about that, but it's just inherently interesting to both of us, and something that you don't really have to speak about, or even in preparation for this. There's not a lot that either of us can kind of do to prepare. It's really just you have to be sitting in the sound and just waiting for it to come together and mesh right, and it's really in the doing of it. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, I guess you know, I come from a very, very primitive approach to sound making, and I first started to work this way years ago when I first became a mother. I was a very young mother, and I didn't have money for equipment or software or things like this, but I just had very, very basic things, and would kind of use contact mics to amplify everyday materials around me. So very, very, because I was based at home so much, my work became very domestic orientated. So I was working with like household objects or cheap materials like salt, flour, water, my own hair, things like this, amplifying, I suppose, bodily sounds and combining them with field recordings. But to answer your question, Gemma, because I've worked in my own very kind of constricted way. You know, I had nobody to kind of teach me how to do things or shortcuts or you know simpler ways of doing things. Already, I'm learning so much from Gordon, just in terms of technologies and. Yeah, I have a background in film, and we're going to kind of keep collaborating with photography and celluloid and print as well. We're delighted to make a print with Stone Prints and you guys. So yeah, like this residency has really opened up space for us to see the processes that we have in common and the things that we can like learn and share with each other. So yeah, I feel like really thankful to have had this time and space. So thanks again.
No problem, as long as you invite us for the wedding.
You're invited.
I know, sorry, guys. I mean, when there is love inside, it's confusing my perception of feel free.
I wanted to ask a question. Since your work, it seems to be very visual, I could picture a lot, like a whole story or several stories while listening. I wanted to know if it was supposed to be like a portrait of the city of Lisbon, or like you talked about snapshots, like just a compilation of snapshots of memories you have here. How did you work through that? I don't know if this is wrong or.
Sure. I mean, for me, it's totally instinctive. There's no greater, you know, plot to it or kind of, you know, vision thing. But I think just by nature that stuff comes out because it sounds that we're all used to hearing, but in a pretty warped, kind of trashy way. But it's all, you know, it's all collective memories of just. Maybe it's specific to Lisboa. Maybe it's, you know, it's a global thing, or you know, it kind of doesn't matter where you are. But I don't know. I mean, for me, I like to leave a lot of things to chance and just not overthink it, and then just try to. I mean, so much of it, this is just sounds we like. Like, there's not really any. I mean, we can attribute all kinds of things to it, but I think deep down, it's just these are just sounds that we're naturally magnetized to and attracted to and want to work with in the same way that we would work with an instrument or a voice. And when you start to combine those things, like all kinds of complicated narratives come out of it, especially when there's, you know, sounds that you associate with, you know, music or violence or calm or animals or, you know. And so I think both of us just really enjoy
Being present.
creating being present, yeah, totally, and also just respecting the sounds as they are, and then just kind of letting them teach us a message or a feeling or an image that it wants to kind of speak. Yeah, I don't know. And a lot of and we share a lot of, you know, motivations and techniques for, you know, Vicky's film work and Vicky's sound art and my music stuff and photography. But a lot of what I really enjoy doing is just combining environments or combining feelings that are impossible, you know, but in your mind and in your heart, like in your memory, like you have a dream and you're like, there's this composite place in your dream that's like made up of all these different memories and places. So to me, it's like, I feel like we're trying to kind of do the same thing, or with, you know, multiple exposure photography and layered things like this, to where it's just combining things that don't exist in nature, because, you know, you can only be in one place at one time, I guess. But once you start associating sounds and memories and images from different places, different time periods, different feelings in your life, different personal histories, then when you combine them, uh, it can have these kind of images or these kind of narratives that I feel like, you know, we're definitely influencing it, but I think it's really up to the receiver, you know, the person that's hearing it, and associating it with, you know, giving it their own associations of images or places or feelings. Does that make sense? I'm sorry, but we're learning Portuguese, but
No, it does make sense, yeah, and it's wonderful that you can speak so globally and yet so intimately to each one of us. It's wonderful.
thanks. That's the idea.
I was wondering, like, you know, it's sort of beautiful music, and I wonder, I mean, it can be intense. I mean, this sort of music is not always beautiful.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's, so I was wondering if it's like intentional, or I mean, this is what it means for you to compose and enjoy it, or it reflects the kind of experience you had in Lisbon.
I think maybe if we were to look back at the sound sources that we used, they are, you're right, they're beautiful, or they could be considered beautiful, and I think that they're quite musical, you know, like they're like guitar and the chime of the tram and a lot of like rhythmical stuff, but like very, very musical. I think we found that Lisbon itself is a really musical city. All of just passing through it, there are so many little sounds and singers and melodies, and there's a beautiful like melancholy that we've both kind of tapped into while we're here. Yeah, maybe it's just a chance thing. You know, that we've chosen to work with these sources, and they yeah, I don't know. What
Yeah,
do you
well,
think?
I think it's interesting that you mentioned that, you know, there's some things that seem beautiful, or it reminds you of beautiful music, or it sounds musical. But it's really important for me to include very ugly sounds, and sounds that are intense or irritating, or just give you different emotional reactions.
But still, there is a question: how you connected?
It's just, I don't know.
It's just instinct,
it's just
really.
instinct,
Yeah.
yeah.
Beautiful the connection.
Yeah, no, you know, it's the same with like photography or film. Like it's just, you can't have something beautiful without something ugly to contrast it with. You know, like, so it's a moment of peace is or a really good meal is best understood if you're extremely hungry. You know what I mean? Like, or if you haven't experienced peace. So to me, that contrast is very important, and I feel like it comes up in a lot of our work, but it's really instinctual. It's just, you know, because we're all complicated humans, and so we just try to make music that speaks to that complexity. And because to me, very fucked up, confusing music like this with all kinds of sounds is, I identify more with that than like a beautiful song or something. You know what I mean? Like it just, to me, it has more depth that I think is interesting and worth exploring. But I think because we're both musicians and we love all kinds of music, that we can't escape musicality, and we can't escape a sense of music with our timing and rhythm and having these musical sounds. But I think it's just one of many parts of life that we appreciate and identify with through sound. Does that make sense?
Last question. What is that very small bottle on the center of the table?
This?
That one, yeah.
Oh, this, so the other, I'm glad you mentioned the other artist in residence, who unfortunately had to leave, I think 2 days ago, was a writer named Mana Mata. She is from Abadan in South Iran. And, you know, we shared the space, you know, so we've been living like right here for the past 4 weeks or whatever. And then she was in the other room working on a novel. But as a really sweet gift, she just gave us this bottle of sand from Hormuz Islands.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's just like multicolored. If anyone wants to take a look at it.
I was noticing it also.
Oh, good. Yeah, you know,
What
like
bottle is that?
I like to have objects that, you know, give me sense and aesthetic memories. Like I had to go to the hospital. Like I'm better now, but you know, this is my blood and the thing from the hospital. This is a tape of Creedence Clearwater Revival from my home state of California. You know, as a candle. This is from Mata. Like, you know, it's just things to inspiration. You know.
Sure.
But apparently the sand in Hormuz is really beautiful. It's like there's this place called the Rainbow Valley. I haven't been, but
In Iran?
in Iran, in South Iran, yeah.
It's worth looking up. It's so
Yeah, it looks like CGI or something. It doesn't look crazy.
Any other questions?
I had a question here. This was a really happy accident for me because I was just walking past the street and then they told me a concert is starting. And I came in. So yeah, I just want to say I'm really happy that I came across this.
Oh,
And I was
man.
just, yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for taking a chance and just,
Yeah, of course.
yeah, disrupting your evening plans or whatever.
I had no plans. I was just beginning my month in Lisbon as well. But I was curious where we could see more of your work or your art. If you have any online spaces that we could check out more of your music or more of your photography, could you share that with us?
Yeah. I have a website under my name, so just VickyLangan.com. I'm kind of notoriously guarded or resistant to releasing work. I've been kind of working with noise and music and like this kind of stuff for years, but something always held me back from committing anything to record or tape or anything like that. So there's very little presence of me online, but I have a website and I make films as well. I'm involved with a really interesting collective that was based in Ireland for many years, and now it's kind of a bit more international, but it's called Experimental Film Society, and it was a collective of experimental filmmakers in Ireland. Now it's an organisation, and so, you know, I work as a sound artist, and then also I have a collaboration that spans over a decade now with my best friend back in Ireland, Max Duquesne, a filmmaker. So if you look up Experimental Film Society, you'll get a really good sense of what is kind of happening in a very strange pocket of Irish experimental cinema. And you'll see some of my work through that as well. Gordon?
I don't have all that much online, but I just have a Bandcamp. That's just my name, GordonAshworth.bandcamp.com.
And if you check the Facebook page, all the links are there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Professional. Are you American?
Yeah, I am.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
The accent, not the New York, but just the American accent is.
Yeah, I know. I heard
Recognizable.
yours too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, thanks for coming and welcome to Lisboa. Hope you have a good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zartan.
Oh, and thank you to DJ João Mouro.
Yeah.
Music.